Okay, so I think I'm just gonna. Carry on. Have we started?
What?
I'll just let you intro when you're ready.
We need a cold open, so we have to talk nonsense for the.
We just did.
I didn't record any of that.
Oh fucking Jesus!
There's a cold open.
It's meandering movies, listening to Gary, Ryan, and Gavin. It's all about films, but goes off course. Will there be arguments? Of course, 'cause everyone knows their lives are dull and they have nothing else to talk about.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Meandering Movie Podcast. We're into the
Season 2.
second week of our movies of the decade. We've gone back over the last 10 years, 9 years technically, 2000 up to 2019. And we are picking our 10 best movies of the decade. If you want to hear my 10 best, you can go back an episode, listen to last week's. It will be episode 1 of season 2 or episode 53. We still haven't decided. We're recording these back to back. And you can find out what I liked. There was a little bit of crossover between me and Ryan, so we'll touch a little bit on them, but we won't go too far. But before we do start the episode, I have a very quick question. If you are a member of a band and the lead man leaves the band, is that the band done? Like if Dave Grohl left Foo Fighters, are the Foo Fighters no more? Who knows? Send me your answers.
They're still the Foo Fighters.
Rage
I don't
Against
think
the
they
Machine,
are.
Audio Slave's a good,
Yeah.
an interesting one. Because like, Sad Della Russia left Rage Against the Machine, Chris Cornell joined, but they were Audio Slave and not Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, see?
But I think I know what the answer is.
What's the
Just
answer?
Come to me. So if the new band with their new person intends to play old songs,
Yeah.
then they continue as the old band.
Yeah.
Whereas if they would like to write new albums and new material from scratch, then they'll rename themselves.
I remember when Brandon Flowers left the Killers and he released a solo album, but it just sounded like a Killers album, and I thought, what was the point? What was the point of
The
that?
day you realise that Brandon Flowers did the bulk of the work.
Pretty much. So yeah, I think on that, without further ado, if you want to send me what you think about that, just send us a message on whatever you want.
Also,
How can you send us a message, Kev?
well, I was going to, before I tell you how to send us a message, I was going to say we are looking for your 3 best movies of the decade and your 1 worst movie of the decade, and we would like you to send those to us because we're going to do our 3 episodes with Gary, myself, and Ryan getting our individual
done
ones.
mine.
But yes, and people loved it. It went over well.
So I've been told, the best of the year.
The best episode of the year. We're never going to top it, but we're going to try. But we're going to do an episode dedicated to you, the listeners, the people that we love, and
Absolutely.
the people that keep me going. Thanks, love you. So send us your 3 best films, your 1 worst film to any of our social medias. Twitter.
Don't send it to my personal social media. Get fucking away, you
Okay.
creeps.
You have 10 years to pick from.
Yeah.
So
There must be 3 films you liked in 10 years.
yeah,
And one you
surely.
didn't like.
And
Probably a
one
lot
you
you
didn't
didn't like.
And if you want to just go back and listen to previous episodes and any film that Gavin is shat on and it makes him angry, if you want to pretend that's your favourite
if
film,
anyone fucking says
That would
Green
be-
Book or Bohemian Rhapsody is one of their best
Full
of the
books,
decade,
Mark.
I'll give up on that one. I don't care anymore. But yeah, if you jump over to our Twitter, that's at Meandering Pod, you can send us a wee message there, or you can go to our Facebook or Instagram, just search for Meandering Movie Podcast, and we've got an email, meanderingmoviepodcast@gmail.com. If you've got an iPod or you're on Spotify, they're all in the descriptions down below. You can just hit those little links and send us
Just thought we'd mix it up,
messages.
did you? Put all that shit at the beginning of the episode for once.
But I'm going to do it again at the end, just in
because
case.
let's be honest, no one listens to the end of our episodes.
That's because that's when
Yeah, we fucking got you, bitches.
That's what
Now
I
you've
thought.
heard how to get in touch with us.
yeah, so just make sure to...
Yes, this is usually what happens at the end.
But this is not the end.
I am Gary.
I am the sustenance in your ears, Gavin.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Finally.
Really makes sense.
Thank
though.
you. Just let it happen.
So
He
just
said it
let
was
him-
good, so
let him
let's
slide.
pretend
Let
it
it
was
slide
good.
for once. And today's episode is going to be
Wait, he didn't
taken.
get to say his name.
I'm fucking doing his intro, you fucking moron.
Oh, okay.
Today's episode is going to be led by the main man himself, his 10 best films of the last 10 years. It is the one and only Skittles!
Get to know the rainbow.
Let's fucking do it. Are you doing the same as me? We crossed over, so you said we're going to
Wait,
briefly touch.
I'll talk about the 2 that we crossed over with.
Yeah.
And then I'll carry on.
Cool.
This is essentially because Gary's ruined it. It's my top.
Sorry.
8. No, I'm kidding. So the
I mean, it
first
says
one,
a lot about these 2 films. Sorry, I've stepped on you already. It says a lot about these 2 films that they run.
we agreed at the end of the last episode that we were far too nice, and I feel like it's like we broke the dam already. Let's just be a little bit more prickholish to each other.
Both of you have both these films on your list. Says a lot about them being your favourite of the decade, and maybe people should definitely go check them out. What are those films, Ryan?
So I let Gary talk about most of his films and just let him rant, but I got involved when he mentioned these ones. So if you want to go back and hear what I thought about my first two films. So also, like Gary, this is in no particular order, but the last three films I will mention are my favourite films.
Creme de la creme.
Top of the board.
Just now.
Yeah.
Not just the decade.
Yeah.
It just so happened that
and I think actually
three of my
not
favourite
wrong.
films in the world have come out in the last decade. So that's quite handy. For
Avengers
this.
Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, and Spider-Man Far From Home.
I didn't mind Avengers Infinity War.
Just Endgame was the problem.
Fucking Anyway, so the first film is Ex Machina, which we've talked about.
Directed by Alex Garland, starring Oscar Isaac, Donut Gleeson, and Alicia Vikander.
And one day, either Gary or Gav is going to say Dol Gleeson's name right.
Donut Gleeson.
Domhnall Gleeson.
Okay.
What is it?
It's just Dol, I think.
Doll.
Shout out to his
I thought it
dad,
was
Brendan
Domhnall.
Gleeson, much better actor. Wish we saw him in more stuff.
If you're going to say his name correctly, it's Bread.
It's Bread Gleeson. Bread Gleeson and Donut
Bread
Gleeson.
Gleeson, Donut Gleeson, or Dog
And their
Gleeson,
mum, Fairy
Brr
Cake Gleeson. No one knows
Their
how
family friend, Liam Neeson Gleeson.
What is it about rhyming names that's so fucking funny?
What was the one that got used? Was it,
Karif.
no, Shaluf LaBeouf.
Caliph LaBeouf.
Caliph LaBeouf.
So yeah, Ex
That's
Machina
my funniest moment on the podcast.
so far.
So far.
Yeah, also starring Oscar Isaacs with his brother Isaac.
What?
We forgot about Dol Gleeson's brother, who always has a big woolly jacket on. Fleecing Gleeson. Anyway, Ex Machina. If you've not seen it, absolutely go and watch it. I'm pretty sure it's an easy one to get hold of.
On
It's
the Netflix.
If you want to hear what I had to say about it, I chip in a fair bit in Gary's episode. The other film that Gary mentioned was A Ghost Story. Again,
Directed by
we did
David
a lot
Lowry.
of,
Starring
a lot of
gushing.
daisy chaining
Casey Affleck and
over
Rooney Mara.
Ghost Story, so we're going to go for that. I'm going to get 8 out of the way pretty fast as well, because it's the last black man in San Francisco,
Which we talked about.
I did a big chat about that
Yeah.
on our favourite of the
Episode
year. So
52 of
we're-
season 1.
we're not going to get super involved in that.
I am
It's
buzzing to go
becoming
see
more
that,
apparent
though.
to me that I'm going to have to talk quite a bit of shit, because I'm already down to 7 films and we've recorded for 10 minutes. But it's okay, because I'm sure Gavin's going to have something ridiculously wanky
I know.
to
The
say
thing is, we need
in
a kind of
response.
shorter one to sandwich in between my one's quite long. We talked a lot, and we need a short one now because the next one's going to be what 3 hours, Gav?
It's
3
like,
hours.
honestly, it's like reading the Magna Carta.
But you guys can't see him, but he's grinning because he fucking knows. He fucking knows we're right, and he's going to talk for.
The first 10 minutes is Gavin going to be saying the ridiculously wank title of his first film.
The incredibly beautiful and powerful movie that I watched one night made me cry. Visceral.
I'm sorry that I just had to write out a 25-page dossier on the first film, and then I'll work on the other ones in between time.
Mental how you've picked Green Book.
Oh, God, I wish. What
So,
a masterpiece of
If
shit
you
that
troll
is.
us
David.
with just a bunch of nonsense films, I'll be so proud of you.
Oh, I should have done that. I might do that.
Tim Burton's Dumbo. I'm kidding on.
No, because I would have gone up in flames.
Number 7 is The Florida Project.
Oh,
Okay.
cool, yeah. I'm excited. It's like people that have films I get to talk about.
I haven't seen this.
I don't know. I know he did Tangerine, his previous film. He shot that on an
Tangerine?
iPhone. Tangerine.
Tangerine.
Shot it on an iPhone 4.
Oh, yeah, I know that guy. I don't know. I know.
You met him at the local Greg's.
Yeah, he was getting a steak bake, vegan one. No, I actually know that director.
I don't know any of his other films. I think they're all similarly well, extremely beautiful, like The Florida Project was. It stars Bria Vinette in her, I think,
Yep, her debut.
debut and maybe currently only film.
Sean Baker is the director.
Brooklyn Prince, who is hopefully going to continue her actor career, because
Yeah.
she is such an amazing little actor in that film. She's
I mean,
really great.
she leads the film,
She
which
does
is
lead the
insane.
film. And then for a nice little bit of buffness in the background, Willem Dafoe.
The big man himself, the chief.
Yeah. Scaring away pedos. AKA my favourite scene in the film.
What's her, the one we said before, Gina... Well, Bria,
Vianette.
she was like an Instagram model.
She's like an from LA, I believe. Kind of classic sort of Instagram.
Yeah.
And then I think this guy
She's
Sean
got
Miller saw her,
got a role.
Yeah,
and he was like, she plays like a young single mum, and they live in a motel complex with her daughter, and that's where they live. And
it's kind of on the doorstep of Disney World or Disneyland.
yeah, super close to Disney World, and like
Right,
that's a
okay.
kind of the film isn't actually about anything.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of features these characters. The main characters is this woman and her daughter, and Willem Dafoe is like the handyman kind of owner of the motel. And there's all different activities going on, but the film is essentially, I can't remember the exact number. I think someone did calculate it up, but it's short scenes or short instances or short films regarding the goings on over I think a year
Right.
in this motel complex and what this woman and her daughter do. And there's a really great scene when it's just her daughter and her friends, and you get this nice insight into like the children's world of them exploring. But it's also about the struggles of like they have absolutely no money, and
Yeah.
she has to become a sex worker for part of the film and things like that. It's a really, it's a heart warmer and a heartbreaker all at
Yeah.
the same time. It's
Yeah.
really tight but really beautiful. It's
They're the
really
best
well
ones.
shot.
Can you get that anywhere at the moment?
I think Prime. It's on Amazon
I
Prime.
think
Is it?
it's on Prime. Yeah, it's worth a watch.
Well, it's one of your best of 10 whole years.
Yes, absolutely.
It's more than worth a watch, right?
I would absolutely sit down and give it a try.
There's also the kind of brilliant juxtaposition of the film where it's like you have these little kids living in this motel. They have no money. Their mum's a drug addict and maybe a prostitute. Probably is definitely a prostitute. They're surrounded by
sex
danger.
worker is the term.
Sex worker. Surrounded by there's the one scene where like the old man, the pedophile, just kind of wanders over the kids
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
that's great. A guy comes over and he's like, talking to the kids and stuff, and he's clearly dodgy, and you just get to watch Willem Dafoe
Just put him in his-
sort this guy out.
But it's the idea of just like you have all this going on, and then not literally across the road, but like more or less the idea of across the road
Disneyland.
is supposed to be the happiest place on earth for
Yeah.
kids, where they get to go and they get to see their favorite characters and they get to go on all the rides. But it's like just outside of that is pure
Like poverty. Absolutely.
to a level that's shameful.
Yeah.
and
I
the
think
film
when you
focus on
someone
that is
from
brilliant.
Not America, or maybe even loads of parts of America, you think about Florida. Like the fact Florida's in the title, you're like, blue seas, doing backflips with dolphins and Mickey Mouse and stuff, and you
Yeah.
realize that there's quite a bit of probably most places that are idolized in the world that are full of direct poverty and have these kind of characters in them. So it's a
Yeah,
really nice
totally.
film. I also think it's a pretty short one as films go as well. It's just a nice,
Okay.
easy,
But
easy watch with lots. It's a big thinker as well.
there is some bad news here, Ryan, which is when I went to see the film, the three women who were older women who were sitting in front of me when the film ended, stood up, and their entire opinion of the film was, "Well, that was fucking shite, Janice," and then they walked out. So I guess it's not one of the best films of the decade for Janice or for her friends. So that's
Our friends Susan and Julie.
just like.
Okay.
So
my
if
next
they're
film-
listening, maybe don't check that one out because you didn't like it.
my next film on the list is probably the one that Gav's going to give me a right for. And fair play,
There has to be one on each
it's
of our
not.
lists.
It's not an amazing film.
To be fair, I'll only give you like a mini row.
You did only give me a mini row.
I might even tell you who directed it first, just to see what you do.
Who? What is it?
I just really love it, and it really makes me feel nice. It was directed by Richard Curtis.
Oh gosh, is it Love Actually?
No, it's not. It's About Time.
Okay, well, see, I can't give you a row for it because I've never seen it.
This
With-
is wait. This
it-
isn't
it features,
the pedo one. This is the
This is Donut Gleason and
It features Doobla Boobla Boobla Dookie and Rachel McAdams.
this isn't the pedo one. What that was the time traveler's wife.
That's
it would
the
be
Time
funny
Traveler's
if
Wife, yeah,
most
not
of
the pedo one.
most of Ryan's films just had pedo scenes in them. Like, what's going on here?
you telling us something, right?
Yeah. No, it's not the Peter one.
Okay.
So yeah, and he,
That's on Prime
gonna-
as well, I think.
it's on Netflix.
It's on
also,
Netflix.
yeah. I'm gonna
It's on my watch list.
spoil probably all my films. So.
Okay. I guess I don't need to watch
I'm
the
not
film
going to
anymore.
spoil it, and it's just like it's a total Richard Curtis movie. It's a love film,
Yeah.
all the way through.
It's
But got
sickening,
this-
but also kind of lovely at the same time.
But it has a. I actually we said at the start that I didn't have any sci-fi films,
Yeah.
and this is not a sci-fi film, but it's got a time travel aspect. to
Yeah,
it.
it's got a
But it's
sci-fi
literally
element to it.
time travel to the fact that it impacts the film so little. Like it's not used as like the base for the entire film.
Yeah.
Like it's such a small thing, and it's like his dad is Bill Nye. Bill Nye's a great character, and I'm pretty sure Richard Curtis has phoned Bill Nye. He's like, "Look, Richard, I'm actually quite sick of you. I'll do it, but I'm putting no effort in. I'm just going to play myself." And Richard Curtis is like, "Yeah, fine."
Yeah, that's good for me.
It's about this boy called Tim, and he lives in Cornwall with his mum. Can't remember who his mum is, but there's a scene in the film where his mum gets compared to Andy Warhol, and she really does fucking look like Andy Warhol. I can't remember the actress's name.
God love her.
And his dad takes him into a room and tells him that you can go in time, but you can only travel back in time to places you've been. Like you can't like kill Hitler.
Yeah.
You just have to stand in a cupboard and think about the time.
Stand in a cupboard. That's
or a dark room or something. And it's quite a ridiculous aspect, but it's basically just a film about how he meets a girl from America in London and they fall in love, and it's really nice. It's
sounds
really
good.
heartwarming, but it's also got some sad bits, and it's just like it goes through his whole life, and it's about what going back in time sort of teaches him.
Yeah.
And eventually at the end of the film, he actually just stops going back in time and learning the beauty of just having a day.
Yeah.
And never getting it back.
Just
Okay.
spending time in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what the whole film's about.
Well, I was going to say, with About Time, having never seen it, knowing it's a Richard Curtis film, and everything you've just said, I do want to watch the film. Audio Boy has many times expressed that I should check out the film. Here's what I know About Time. Is because it's a Richard Curtis film, and with everything you just said, I'm either going to absolutely fucking love it, or I'm going to absolutely fucking hate it, and there will not be any in between. I know that's for a fact. There will be
No
no
quite
middle
in between.
ground.
confidently say it's Richard Curtis' best film.
Interesting.
Obviously, I don't think Love Actually counts because it's a Christmas film.
Yeah.
I don't think you can include Christmas films in your shit. But I think it's Richard Curtis' best film.
Okay. Interesting.
Which I
what
don't
else has
think
Richard
that
Curtis
hard.
done?
About a Boy,
That's good.
4 Weddings and a Funeral.
That's good.
Notting Hill. Was that him?
Yeah.
That's all right.
you just both made the exact same face that annoys to each other.
I actually just said really wank English films. I'm not sure if Richard Curtis did those films.
No, I'm pretty sure because it's got Hugh Grant in
They
them.
all feel the
He
exact
did
same.
4
so.
Weddings, Notting Hill, The Boat That Rocked, Yesterday.
He did The Boat That Rocked.
Fucking
You love
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Ah,
Yesterday.
God.
He didn't do About a Boy,
Oh, okay.
which probably would have actually was the only one I said, which I was like, fuck, that is probably better than About Time. He didn't direct it, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I
but
think
you
it's
made the
Richard-
correct statement. Those all sound like those are all the same film. Notting Hill, 4 Weddings, and a Funeral, Yesterday. It's just like
About a Boy is pretty similar.
Love Actually.
sure, it's got Hugh Grant in it.
Just a man
Yeah, Hugh
bumbling
Grant's
through
not
life.
in it, which is a big one for me. It's a big up.
You get
That's-
Bill
we've
Nye
gotten about
instead.
all.
Bill Nye's a good one. It's good. Always good to have him turn
Bill
up.
Nye's good, and yeah, I'd
Oh,
absolutely check it out, Gav.
Lindsay something played the mum.
Right. Next film.
Andy Warhol. I'm now on film number 5, I believe.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I've got these written down in order, but I had to change the order because you said some of the films.
You
I've done
prick.
I'm sorry.
Done that.
I couldn't help
Okay,
it.
so the next film is The Killing of the Sacred Deer.
Our first Yorgos Lanthimos film. That's the
Yorgos
director of the
Lanthimos.
film.
And it was really hard to pick between that and The Lobster. And I knew that I wasn't going
Oh,
to have
cool.
both.
Lobster was close to being on my list.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Killing of the Sacred Deer, but Lobster was very close to hitting my top 10.
And I didn't know I was not going to have both because of Gav's weird fucking internal
No,
wank.
I was a rule I put upon myself. I didn't give you any restrictions.
But
Anyone.
I think the reason I picked this is I really prefer Colin Farrell as a antagonist and a protagonist. Like, he's not a particularly good person in either film.
Yeah.
But there's just something about the acting. Everyone in The Killing of the Sacred Deer is so wooden, and I can't describe it. It's you can't so the best thing about a film is you sit down maybe after a hard day, you have a beer, you have maybe some food, or you go to cinema, same kind of thing,
Yeah.
and you relax. I've never felt so uneasy for 2.5 hours. Like it's so it's basically it makes you as
Interesting.
uneasy as like the Us trailer did.
Yeah.
Shame the film didn't.
Pile of garbage.
But yeah, like it's so on edge. Everyone is so like you feel that every character has an agenda
Yeah.
that you don't know about.
It's a
Um,
film of, like you say, pure unease.
Yeah.
We're like,
There's no relaxing.
Yeah.
it's like the atmosphere of the scene, the kind of body language of the characters, the dialogue from the characters, the way they just look at each other sometimes.
And the
like
acting's amazing. Like Colin Farrell, Nicole Kidman,
Barry
Keoghan.
Cohen, something.
Keoghan.
Yeah.
And
I believe
he's
you.
kind of really the only person who kind of has an emotion. So the rundown of the film is it starts off and Colin Farrell has this family, and he's a doctor, and I think his wife is also she's a optician. I believe. So they're really well off American family. She's American. He's just Irish. He pretty much just plays. He doesn't like have an accent or anything. He plays himself in that sense. And he starts off and he's having this conversation with this young boy, and he's got a kind of weird relationship with this boy. And I think eventually it turns out that the boy's father has died during surgery.
Right.
And Colin Farrell's character
was under the influence of alcohol at the time, so
Colin Farrell was the
surgeon.
the surgeon, yeah. And the boy's like, I'm gonna kill your wife, your daughter, or your son. You can pick, and if you don't pick, they all die.
Fuck that. That's a hard one to
He's like,
choose.
I'm gonna kill them all,
Yeah.
or you can kill one of them.
Or he makes him kill one of them.
Yeah. But he does it in such a fucking insane way that he infects them with this weird.
Oh, no, wait, no, don't
disease
say
and-
anymore.
Yeah.
Wait,
But, like,
because I want to watch it now.
You should watch it, man,
yeah.
and it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
The film, it's an incredible journey of atmosphere, which is, you come into that film, you're just like, I don't understand how to feel.
Yeah.
Which is weird, so now I'm uneasy. And as the film progresses and things escalate, and the kind of twisted plot of people kind of gets out of hand and they start doing things, you're like, oh no, don't do that, please. And it just raises to a point, and it's insane. Like, the film just elevates to a level where it's like, holy fuck, you're doing this,
Yeah.
and
And
I'm in. Like,
There's
let's
a bit
go.
where you realise, sort of in the middle, when you kind of realise that Barry Keoghan's character is definitely not there as a good character.
Yeah.
So he invites the doctor to his house, and his mum like tries it on with him. Who play? I feel like a big actress. Alicia Silverstone plays his mum. Yeah.
Damn.
And
Bad girl.
she tries it on with
Yeah, it's Batgirl.
Colin Farrell, and he's kind of like, no. So he's
Do you want
And
to
then-
dead shit? What's his name? Bullseye.
oh yeah,
Bullseye.
Colin Farrell's biggest mistake. And then he kind of gets in with their family. His daughter like takes all her clothes off in front of him. He's like, so like his character, he's like, I could have sex with your daughter. His son really appreciates him. Like, he's kind of looks up to him. He's like, I could easily like bully your son.
Yeah.
I could manipulate your wife and tell her that my wife, like my mum, loves you and you've had
Yeah.
sex with my mum. But he's like, I'm not going to do any of that stuff. So he's got so many ways that he could fuck him. But he's like, I'm going to fuck you the worst way. And it's so
Yeah, okay.
it's an
Should I
absolutely
say-
great
Going
concept.
on the list.
Shout out to Yorgos Lanthimos, who he just goes into the head and just fucks with it.
He, like,
Both
nails
the
it
characters
every
and,
time as well.
and the audience.
And I like that he takes his time. Like, he's not churning out films.
Yeah,
Like, he's clearly sitting down for a long
And
long
just
time.
making sure he's doing it correctly.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I mean,
the
if you
thing.
look at this decade, he's had The Lobster, The Killing of the Sacred Deer, and The Favourite, and all of those are fucking banging films. And
Dogtooth as well,
Dogtooth as well.
I haven't seen Dogtooth or Sacred Deer, but Dogtooth's gonna hit the list as well. Nice.
Yeah. So film number, I don't know what number I'm on now.
I think you're on 5 or 6 now.
Done that.
If you have to,
We're film 4 now.
Were the channel film for, or? Thank you.
That was the
Wait, we're
worst
only
review
on
ever
4th?
told. I'm on film number 4, yeah.
no, we were on 5.
I've done Ex Machina, Killing Sacred Deer, Last Black Man, About Time, Florida Project, Ghost Story.
Oh, 4. Sorry.
So I'm on, so I'm counting down.
Yeah, I'm with you.
We've got 4 left.
Oh,
Either
shut
way
up, Gary,
you've
you
been with
fucking
me, the
idiot.
number that you said I was on is wrong. So my next film, number 4, is the film Whiplash.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Like, again, also very close to being on
Directed
my.
by Damien
on my
Chazelle,
list.
starring
It
J.K.
was-
Simmons and
So
Twatface.
easy. So easy. There was no question, there was no thought. It was one of the ones that was just straight on my list. And it was actually, I love this film so much.
Yeah.
And it's my 4th best film of the year,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
made
yeah.
me also put up like more for the rest of the films for me.
Ooh. But yeah, Whiplash is a phenomenal. Like, I think everyone by this point must have seen the iconic scene, the sequence with the, am I dragon or
Yeah. Russian I'm a Dragon.
Russian or dragon? Am I a
Are
Russian
you
dragon?
Russian or a dragon? I want to be a dragon today, Jakey.
And everyone must have seen that scene by now because it goes around. It's like it's almost meme worthy. I think it is
Yeah.
meme worthy at this
There's
point.
definitely memes of it, yeah.
Like, have you seen the Bongo Cat one?
No.
Always playing the Super Mario Land. I'll send you it.
And then we'll try and play it on the TV and it won't work.
It
and then
won't
we'll just
work.
watch it on the phone anyway.
But it's like outside that, it's just such a fucking, like, the characters are just so fucking like on each other
Yeah.
constantly.
And it's like a sort of dog-eat-dog exploration
It's-
of art.
Yeah.
Such a tense film.
Yeah.
You're always on edge because you're just like, anytime J.K. Simmons walks into a scene, you don't know if he, because that's what he does in the film. He fucks. Some scenes he's quite nice, and they sit
Yeah.
at dinner, or they're sitting at that jazz bar where after he got fired and stuff. Spoilers for Whiplash, and he just seems kind of normal and pleasant. You're like, oh, I can relax. Like J.K. Simmons is kind of, and then literally at the end of that scene, he goes, he just kind of like. Just it comes out of him,
Yeah.
like a monster, like he's a werewolf or something. Not Ray Winston's the werewolf, but just a werewolf, and it's just like you're always on edge in that film.
I remember I watched the film Kill Your Friends,
Yeah,
which was
Nicholas
very
Hoult.
close to never being on this list. With Nicholas Hoult, James Corden.
That says it all.
What?
If James Corden's in your film, it's done.
Craig Roberts is in it as well. I mean, the first thing I think it's probably James Corden's best film because the first thing that happens in the film is Nicholas Hoult hates and tries to kill James Corden. So
Like everyone
already
else.
everyone's
It's
like,
a good starting point.
we're fucking on this film. But I was like, I want that film, but better. Like I want that. Like it's a different level. It's a sort of like a kind of filth train spotting-esque kind of film.
Yeah, I can get that. Yeah,
But I was like, I want that, but better. And Whiplash is that like that proper dog eat dog, fighting for your life. Everything I've done in my life is music. Like you learn to play these instruments at fucking such a young age, and if these people at this point aren't taking you on, they aren't taking you forward, you've wasted all that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like that thing where he starts seeing that girl and they have a nice relationship, and he's like, I cannot see you. I need to play the
such
drums.
a brutal scene.
Yeah.
Where he just like
So brutal, but also like such a different mindset because I know people like that and I've been like that where it's like this is so important to me that it's actually more important than you, and not in a
it's
bad way.
podcast for me.
Not in a bad way, just like we want different things. Like you want a relationship and you want to spend lots of time with me. I want to be a fucking amazing drummer, and you're in the way of that.
I do. I remember coming out of it and thinking, I really wish I had anything in my life that I
was
cared
that
that much
passionate.
about. Yeah.
And the better, like, and J.K. Simmons as well. It's like he
Fuck off,
always,
audio boy.
podcast, Gary. Is that
he says throughout the film, and he's like, I just want people to be the best.
Yeah.
And at the end, when he just improvises the whole thing, then J.K. Simmons is like, I'm fucking with you because you are the best now. And then it's also kind of wank. He's like, I've made you the best. And I'm like, yeah, you haven't, but that's not the point. Like
that ending? It was like a 14-minute scene.
it's
all
just
in.
of Miles Teller playing the drums.
Yeah.
It's fucking.
But it's not.
It's
So Miles Teller doing this. Above a drum.
it's fucking. I mean, let's go. No one
Audio
likes.
podcast.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Skittles was
Basically,
just
I
rocking with his hands in the air.
smiled and moved my torso left
he
and
moved
right,
like
which
a
is what
Thunderbird.
Miles Teller does at the end of the film, while some drum jazz professional plays the drums really well.
The ending to that film is phenomenal. Like it just holds you there, and it should like drag out, and you're like, but it doesn't. You're just there, and you're in it, and it goes on so many different levels of just like how
it's
it
a film
starts.
about obsession.
Yeah, it's
It's like it's really tight. I don't think there's a bad scene.
also
in it.
it
Yeah, nice.
gave us the Hollywood wonder boy that is Damien Chazelle, who just seems to go from strength to strength. So
Who's that?
Damien Chazelle he did Whiplash, La La Land, and then First Man.
I will look him
Yeah.
up. Keep going.
I hated La La Land, but that's not the point. Okay, next film. Okay, so I actually saw a film this year. So I had my top 3 films before this year.
Avengers Endgame.
Stop saying Avengers films every time I say this.
You love it so much.
And this film actually knocked the film that you think is going to be my top 2 down to 3. So I'm going to say my third film first.
Okay.
And film number 3 is Drive, which was knocked off the number 2 spot by another film.
I mean, I know someone who's going to be very upset about
Yeah,
that.
me too.
And Drive, just so I'm clear, because there's so many of these. Drive was
It's
Ryan
direct-
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling's
Taxi.
Baby Driver.
Yeah, like
Directed
he wasn't
by-
a taxi driver. He was just a.
He's the same
he's, the,
idea.
he's the wheel man.
He's a driver for hire.
He's also a stunt driver.
Yeah.
That's it.
Bryan Cranston's in it. Ron Perlman's in it. The guy who's not Bryan Cranston or Ron Perlman's in it.
What's her name from Mad Men?
Carrie Mulligan is in it as well. She's
Carrie Mulligan's so good in it. What's
a lot of the film is
ginger
just
lass
Oscar
from Mad
Isaacs
Men?
is also in it.
Mm.
Christina Hendricks, she's in it.
Yeah, Christina Hendricks. Yeah, and it's just he's like a mysterious Driver. I'm pretty sure people listening to this have seen Drive. It's a cult classic.
It's
it instantly almost became a cult classic.
He's a wheel man.
Nope.
I'm trying to, because I've only seen it once and I remember loving it, but I didn't watch come back to it.
Yeah.
There's the scene with the hammer though.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's a lot
Holy
of scenes
fuck.
with hammers.
Yeah, but there's
The main
one
one.
scene
Yeah,
with
the
the
one
hammer.
scene.
There's one
Drive
good-
is such an interesting one because it got marketed in a way where people thought it was going to be one thing, and it's really not the thing anything
Yeah.
thought it was. Everyone thought it was going to be like this kind of like heist movie. We follow the driver. He's going to get wrapped up. In
Everyone
some
thought it was
sort
going to be Baby Driver,
of- yeah, something like that.
but it wasn't.
And instead, it's like the most subtle love story in the most violent way ever, and it's.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling's just so Ryan Gosling, you just love him. And Carey Mulligan's, of course, just this effortlessly brilliant actress who just
Quite a
floats
lot
through
of the
the
film
film.
is just Carey Mulligan and Ryan Gosling looking at each other.
So
and,
good.
and to like a class soundtrack.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oscar
Because
Isaacs is
the-
good in it as well.
The film's like in a weirdly anachronistic way because it's almost the soundtrack and the kind of vibe of the movie makes it feel like it's kind of in that like 80s vibe, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
But the film's not. It's set.
The film's very much neon future-y.
Yeah, it's
the film's
it's
almost
really-
looks futuristic.
It's really interesting, but like the soundtrack and everything about it is that kind of like rad metallic writing style
Yeah.
80s. It's such a
That
weird
total, like,
mix
Grand
of
Theft Auto Vice City. Kind
yeah, that's it,
Yeah.
Vice City style. It's
Yeah.
it's mad, but it's so fucking
Also,
class.
speaking of mad, its director, Nicholas Winding Refn, is a fucking weird man.
He also looks mental.
He looks mental.
Like, but you can't tell why. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't. Like, you see people in the street, and you're like, you look mental because your face tattoos, or your massive beard, or your look. But he just looks mental.
I like
There's
how both-
something about it.
Both Gary and Audio Boy are now looking at pictures.
Do you know what I mean? He just looks mental.
It's because his neck's too long. That's the problem.
Thomas Barber.
Hear it to that long-necked freak.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, I was talking about Nicholas Winding Refn.
I didn't see that, Thomas.
What?
I love you. I'm just joking. Yeah, the thing with Nicholas Winding Refn is his films after Drive
Yeah.
have never been.
Haven't hit the highs.
Haven't hit that kind of Drive
Yeah.
play. And again, I think a lot of that might come down to the marketing for Drive.
Yeah.
And then that love story between Gosling and Mulligan. It's
It's really good, and like Oscar Isaacs is great in it as well. The love story between Ryan Gosling and like their son, that he just really wants to look after him.
Yeah.
because like obviously that plays on the fact that like Bryan Cranston talks about Ryan Gosling's character in his past, and like he's not even named. He's called Driver in the credits and
Yeah.
stuff.
Remember
Like,
that.
he's always had a really shitty life, and so like he sees this little boy. His dad's come out of jail. He's had quite like violence involved, and he just kind of wants to look after him. But the only way he really knows how to look after them is violence.
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of juxtaposition of that. But there's really soft scenes.
like
and then
one in the
You're
elevator.
into like a huge.
The one in the
yeah,
elevator is a really soft
The elevator
scene, I
scene
feel.
is like them. It's when they have their first kiss, and then he literally crushes a man's head with the heel of his foot.
It's a
Yeah.
weird. It's a weird film because it's a Nicholas Winding Refn film. It's a film about love and relationships and being the person you want to be, juxtaposed with absolutely grotesque, horrendous violence
Yeah.
that just comes from nowhere, and it's brilliant.
And it highlights it both ways. Like that's the best thing about it. It highlights the violence, highlights the softness, and then the softness highlights the violence.
And then the violence makes me go from soft to hard.
and it's just blended so perfectly well that like because sometimes films try and pull that trick and it just doesn't land.
You just don't want
and
it
it just
to work.
you feel like you're whiplashing. Whereas that
Yeah.
film manages
Hey,
to
call
blend
back.
the two of them so well.
Can you put the pun noise in there?
With the music as well, which is like kind of 80s kind of dancey music, which
Yeah.
is almost like all those kind of soft beats to
yeah,
it.
fucking Kavinsky's
The
Nightcrawler.
same- yeah.
That's
So it's like the music is even soft and hard at the same time. Like
It's
it's
great.
all perfect, and the light as well. Like it's really contrasty.
Yeah.
Some of the lights super soft and hard. Like it's all good.
Yeah. Right. Number 2.
Cult classic. Number 2 is the film Mid 90s by Jonah Hill.
Oh, I've not seen that
Mid
yet.
90s by Jonah Hill.
Yep.
Oh, I
Jonah
forgot
Hill's
it.
directorial debut.
Yeah. I remember this.
And it is
Is it good?
so fucking good.
Because it's kind of about his childhood and growing up.
I'm not sure how much of it is
Autobiographical.
autobiographical.
Right.
Stop doing my words for me.
I like doing it.
I'm not sure how much of it is autobiographical and how much of it is just a film he wanted to write.
Yeah.
The first time I read about it was him discussing how hard it was to teach actors to skateboard,
Right.
and instead he just found skateboarders and taught them how to act. So apart
Shows
from,
what's a more difficult
It's
skill.
the
then.
Armageddon solution. What's easier, so teaching astronauts how to drill or teaching drillers how to astronaut?
absolutely. So the kid in it is, I can't remember his name.
Okay.
He's called Bob in The Killing of the Sacred Deer. That's the kid who's in the film. He has a really tough home life.
Yeah.
Single mom who, dates a lot of guys, spends a lot of time at the house. He has an older brother. I can't remember the actor's name who plays his older brother.
Oh,
But I fucking
Lucas
hate
Hedges?
him and everything he's
Lucas
in.
Hedges.
Lucas Hedges, is that his name? I fucking hate him in everything he's in.
Does it all stem from this movie?
And he proper batters his brother. And I don't
Yeah.
mean sibling fighting. I mean kicks his little
Bashes.
cunt in
Yeah.
all the time. And he has this really harsh life. And he just sees these kids skateboarding one day. And so he just starts chatting to them. One of them sort of runs a skateboard shop, and he goes in. So straight away, I think the first thing he's they're all skateboarding out the back, and it's set in San Francisco, maybe, not sure.
Somewhere on the western seaboard.
Summer hot in America, and he has to go and get them water and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He slowly gets in with the crowd and in with these guys and learns their names, learns about their lives and how they're all basically there skateboarding to just get away from something.
Yeah.
There's one kid who's there who's kind of maybe a little richer or whatever, and he's just there because he loves skateboarding. But yeah, really gets in with these kids, and there's a really great relationship between him and the other youngest kid, and he gets a nickname on his first day, and this other kid doesn't have one, and he gets kind of jealous about him, and he tries his first cigarette, tries his alcohol, and it's a total
Coming of age. Yeah.
but not a coming of age film at all. I wouldn't say it's coming of age at all.
The coming of age genre, but it's a different different movie entirely.
a different tone, I think, to most
Yeah.
coming of age films. The acting for I think 4 kids in total who've never acted in their lives is so good. They're really tight characters. They're really great. The wee boy whose name I can't
Sonny
remember.
Silic.
Sonny Silic, that's him, is going to be
He
either a drug addict or a really great actor. We'll see what happens.
he was in. He played the kid in the God of War remake that came out in 2017.
Oh, okay.
So
That's cool.
He's also the son in The Killing of a Sacred Deer as well.
Cool.
So
Doing a lot.
yeah, really, really great film. Really enjoyed it. The soundtrack is insanely good from 70s, 80s, and 90s hip hop, and there's a Nirvana song in there as well, which is always helpful.
Did Jurassic 5 get a honorable
I think
mention?
There's a Jurassic 5 song.
Fucking
in there,
had
yeah.
to be
No,
there,
there's
man.
definitely a Jurassic 5 song in there. 100%.
Mid-90s is a film I've been waiting to watch for so long, and because I'm terrible at being a human being and doing things that I actually need to do in my life, I've still not got around to it yet.
It's on Netflix. It's
I know,
super
I know
easy
it's
to
an annoying
watch.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm useless. That's what we're learning here.
What's funny
But-
is it's not been on my list, but it's not been on my list because I remember seeing, Jonah Hill's fucking doing a movie. And then it completely went off my radar because of that fact. And then I do remember reading one review which is Jonah Hill's movie's fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Everyone go watch it.
if you watched it without knowing Jonah Hill
Had anything to
directed
do with it,
he
yeah.
would be not even on your list of people you thought had
Yeah.
directed that film. It's super good, and it looks amazing as well, which is always helpful. It's
I'm
really
definitely
well
going to be
shot.
watching it.
I'm going to stick it on.
And
Definitely.
again, it's not a super long one. I think it's
Yeah.
the 2-hour mark as well, so it's a nice
Cushy. I don't have
easy
much
watch
time
that
these
I was gonna
days.
say,
to watch again.
I'm on my list. I'm not sure how many of them hit the kind of. I think most of mine are pretty compact.
Yeah, I've not picked any massive films. Last Black Man in San Francisco, I think, is the longest film I've got in mind.
trying to think. Now that I've
It's
said
like
my
220
list.
as well.
Yeah,
What the hell
Ghost
is on
Stories.
my-
Ghost Story is like an hour 40. I
Ghost
think.
Story.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Phantom Thread's probably the longest on mine.
Well, don't list all yours because some people might not go back
Sorry.
and listen to that episode.
That was the longest, but
Well, we hope
everything
people
else.
maybe listen to that first.
I mean, it's been on the episode list before we do your number one. It's been on the episode list for so long of why a film's getting longer and longer and longer.
Yeah.
I mean, how many super long films are in any of our top tens? We haven't heard yours yet, but
well,
it could all go. You could change the average. But Ryan, Skittles, I'm excited.
You're excited for my favorite
I'm
film?
really excited, man. This has been.
I mean, so far, how many of his have you noted down that you're going to watch?
1, 2, 3, 4.
There you go. So he's already taken 4 films from your list.
Yeah,
It's a
nice.
solid list. He's going to take how many from mine?
I've already scribbled out your section.
Just big X through it. Didn't even fill it with a film. Just nah. I don't want to read.
So my last film I think I'm pushing it. I think it came out right at the start of 2010.
Right.
I know. Well, oh yeah, I know what it is. I'm
Well, it came out
excited.
DVD 2011, but it came out in 2010. I'm pretty sure.
What is it?
I'm
It's
excited.
Submarine by Richard Ayoade.
Oh, okay. I remember this. Haven't
not-
seen this either.
There we
It
go.
is-
Note that one. That's 5 up now.
It's going down.
Half of your list is Gary's not seen. He's like, I'm going to watch this.
That's good. That's hopefully a lot of the
I mean, in fairness,
customers are giving it that.
this was the these are the 10 best films I've seen in 10 years. I was going to be taking down any of the ones I hadn't seen regardless.
yeah,
Are
anyone's
you ready to
best
write
film
down
in
10 films for next year?
Honestly, yeah, I am.
Nah, you've seen some of them.
Oh no.
Okay, so it came out at the end of 2010.
Oh, okay, cool.
That
We're good.
counts.
We're good.
That counts. I'm counting it.
I
If
thought
it
for a
was the end
second
of
there we're gonna have
2009, then we're like, well,
We're gonna
Well,
have
it
a-
wasn't.
a shock
And if it was the end of
disqualification.
2009, I would like Green Book. Number one.
I replace it with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah. Fucking loved Booksmart.
Yeah. Right,
No,
so
it's
Submarine.
And
That's your
Submarine,
favorite film in 10 years.
yeah. It's I have the characters tattooed on my arm.
he does.
Fuck.
Yeah, I really loved it so much. I think the first time I watched it, I was like, I'm going to be such a cool little fucking indie kid and I'm going to watch this film. And I did watch it and I was like, I'm such a cool little indie kid and I've seen this film. But I keep watching it. I've probably watched it
Yeah.
every year since.
Like
And
I watched
it's-
Predator, and they're kind of similar.
And it, it sticks up. I really enjoy it. It's just about a boy in school who meets a girl
Yeah.
and doesn't really know what to do. Like, he's totally shit at being a boyfriend.
Just leave it there. He's totally shit at being.
That's and he's like super depressed as a young
Yeah.
person. Craig Roberts is a fucking great actor in it.
Yeah.
It's also got Sally Hawkins in it.
Okay,
and
cool.
Noah Taylor as well. They're his parents, and they're really good in it. Paddy Constantine's in it as well, and I fucking hate his character. Like he's made to be hated in it.
Yeah.
He's like, he plays the absolute worst person on the planet. Set in Wales, like total bleak, but again, just a really easy story to follow. Nothing really happens. I really like films where nothing really happens in.
Yeah.
I don't
But
have
it's
a list
just-
for you.
Like a nice, but like a sort of exploration of like depression and mental health as a younger person as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, you should absolutely watch it. There's some really good
I
good
think-
bits in it. I don't want to say too much because
Submarine is
so
definitely
little
on
happens in
Prime.
it.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
saying
yeah.
too much would like give it
Ruin
all
it.
away.
No, totally. I mean, that was my whole. I was like, I don't want to talk too much about these films other than ghost. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how can you gush about something without
Oh,
ruining it for
yeah.
our
Well,
listeners?
when we wait to get to my list, I'm just gonna. Yeah, but with Submarine, it's so pure and wholesome.
Yeah.
like it's just so lovely. The film, even when it's like he's going through some of the hardships and he's like struggling
Yeah.
with things, and he's like there with his family and stuff. It's just, and that it comes from Richard Ayoade, the absolute mind-bendingly oddball man you could ever expect.
Yeah.
It's and his films since then have never really hit the same kind of notes.
No,
as
absolutely
Submarine
not. He's
hits.
done one since then.
Yeah,
Two.
with
Jesse
Eisenberg.
Eisenberg. It's called The Double.
It was not.
It was not good at all.
I think my friend described it the best. Was like it's felt like a student film if they'd never made a student film before. That was The Double.
Yeah.
But the Submarine, it feels
Oofed.
the
Submarine feels like a student film that the lecturers are watching it and going, fuck.
and at the same
Like we
time,
can't tell them what they've made.
Yeah,
Because they'll
yeah.
get too big headed and it'll
it's-
crush their careers.
Yeah, it's just so wonderful.
It's-
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
And
right.
also, I think nearly all of the films that Ryan has listed that Gary wants to watch, or the other ones that other people haven't seen, are on either Netflix or Prime. So you have easy access.
I mean, that was
People
as
out
you were
there.
listing them there. I was kind of like, this is sweet. This is
Yeah.
going to be my week.
I think
sorted.
I go home.
Submarine is on Netflix. If not, it was.
No, it's
really
definitely on
recently.
Prime.
Cool.
So there you go.
Bosh.
Done.
Good list, man. Yeah.
Run us down again one more time. What was the list there?
So we started off with A Ghost Story,
Ex
Last
Machina.
Black Man, Ex Machina, Killing of a Sacred Deer, Whiplash, About Time, Drive, Mid-90s, Submarine, definitely forgotten one,
I think that was it.
Florida Project.
Florida Project. No, you had
Yeah.
forgotten one.
Get yourselves out there, people, and watch those.
Get them
films.
watched. Get them watched.
And if you don't want to watch those, you should
watch.
watch Tim Burton's Dumbo.
I'm going to watch About Time because that's the only one I need to see. No, in fact, mid-90s as well. I need to see About Time in mid-90s.
90s. Yeah, wow. So 2 episodes that have been pretty fucking nice.
You've been so nice to
I've
me.
been so
You've just been loving it. We just get to talk about movies that you actually enjoyed for once,
I know,
rather
I
than
don't
us
have to sit-
arguing about why you're a heartless piece of shit.
I mean, yes, but it's don't take this the wrong way, guys, but I'm just pleasantly, refreshingly surprised at your lists.
What?
I don't know.
Such a dick.
I don't know what.
Such a
no,
fucking dick.
You've asked both of us to do a film podcast with you. Like, what for?
Yeah, but
For what purpose if you think that we can't even write a good list of 10 films from 10 years, which in the span of film is not fucking long,
I
Gavin?
know, but okay, maybe not you, Ryan, but Gary. Fuck I'm not going to make eye contact even when I say this statement. I was expecting a lot worse, and what I got was fucking wonderful. So
Fuck you.
Do you know how many films come out in the last 10 years?
Do you know how many Marvel?
Billions.
Do you know how many Marvel movies came in the last 10 years? I was expecting.
You're expecting at least 2, right?
I was expecting at least 2 Marvel movies on your list.
I get you one. Nah, it's fair. It's fair. I get where you're coming from, and I think that's the thing. The difference between us is that I can appreciate the garbage movies, although I'm like, they're shit, but I like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm okay watching it. Whereas you're like, that was shit. I'd rather bleach my brain and gouge my eyes
because I
out.
expect better.
No, but I understand there's time where you want to just
Turn your brain off.
turn your brain off.
Watch Bumblebee. Have a laugh.
I enjoyed Bumblebee. It was fun.
I also quite like Bumblebee.
Bumblebee was good.
Bumblebee was my last film of my last new film of 2019.
It's fun.
There you go.
Why have they not been doing that this entire time instead of the fucking garbage we got instead?
Oh, I
Because
know.
Michael Bay directed the rest.
Yeah.
It's true. Right, let's not get into a deep dive on Bumblebee. That's it for Skittles Top 10. Well done. Very
Thanks,
good list. Next week, we'll be back with Gavs.
The big one we've all been waiting for.
Can I just ask right now one question, and this won't spoil anything. How many of your list are foreign movies?
Maybe half.
5 at least.
Maybe.
maybe half, so 6.
That's fine. It's okay.
It's going to be a lot of me telling you what these films are and you being like,
Yeah, I feel like the nice thing
Wow.
about Gary and I's list is that we've all been able to discuss these films. You've picked 10 films that no one's heard of, let
you
alone
don't-
us two.
You don't know that. Audio
Like,
Boy
it would
might
actually
have
probably be
seen
good if
some.
you tell us the list before so we can watch the films and then maybe actually be able to talk about them.
Don't you say anything.
I
know
do
you've
kind
seen
of
the list.
I do agree. I think you're gonna have to give us some inclination, or at least like drop 3 to each of us, so that we can
At least have a
something
discussion
to
about
talk
something.
about.
Otherwise, it's just going to be me and Gary doing like sitting in silence and you ranting about films made in Belgium.
Our least listened to episode.
I mean, I was expecting that. I'm ready for that. I don't care. I know there's some people out there who listen who love my taste.
I'm sure there are. I'm sure there
Also, shout out to the film In Bruges, which until 3 days ago I thought came out in 2011. It didn't. It came out in 2008.
Yeah, there's been so many films and I'm like, oh, that's going to be out. Oh, fuck. It came out like 2 years prior to when I needed this list to start.
are. Yeah, Moon was one of mine, and then the one we just mentioned off mic very briefly was The Guest. That's gonna be my other honourable
Mine
mention.
was There Will Be Blood and No Country for Old Men. I was like, I need to. I was like, oh, I can't.
Can't do 'em. The Guest was within the 10 years, wasn't it? I just don't think it was.
Did you hate Gone Girl, Gav?
I enjoyed Gone Girl.
Ah, damn, I was going to put it in the list 'cause I thought you wouldn't like it.
Right, let's wrap it. Gav, how can people get in touch, and what are we looking for?
We are looking for, from this decade, 3 of your best films, or your favourite films, or the films that made some sort of impact upon you, and 1 of your worst. Because, positivity over negativity.
Positivity, am I right?
No, you're on timeout. So what we want you to do is jump over to our social medias, or some of you out there who listen know us personally. You can send us a wee message if you want over the old WhatsApps or Facebook
Anything
messengers
fancy.
or whatnot. Just get your 3 films in and your 1 worst. So Twitter will be at Meandering Pod. Facebook and Instagram, just search for Meandering Movie Podcast. Give us a wee follow over there. And our email is meanderingmoviepodcast@gmail.com. You've heard all this at the beginning, but you're getting it one more time just to remind you. Also, feel free to just drop in some topic suggestions or comments on the podcast, or what you want us to talk about in season 2. We're going to be having some guests on, but if you know anyone who think we should be getting on, maybe drop us their information. We want to get some more people on this year that are working in the industry or just have a passion for film, so we're going to get some of those people on. But yeah,
Also, big fucking shout out to those of you who still listen at this stage of the episode.
Yeah.
Those of you who put this on and you listen to us talking utter pish until the very end.
And if it's because you're driving, we appreciate that you can't change it, can't touch your phone.
Yeah,
you're
well,
in the- you're
congrats
on
on
the
being
motorway.
safe on the road.
yeah,
Good
not
on
breaking
ya.
the law.
This one's for you. Come on, Gav, give him a kiss.
No.
Guys, that's it from us. We'll be back next week with Gavin's top 10 of the last 10. It's going to be a wild ride.
I'm so terrified.
And yeah, we'll be back next week.
Bye. Music is life.
It's meandering movies, listening to Gary, Ryan, and Gavin. It's all about films, but goes off course. Will there be arguments? Of course, 'cause everyone knows their lives are dull and they have nothing else to talk about.